All right, welcome back to another edition of Algebra 1. We are moving into section 2-4, and we're going to split this into 2 days here, 2-4A and 2-4B. The first day, both of them are solving equations with a variable on each side, where you have one on the left and one on the right, a variable we're talking about. And 2 different days here. One, we're going to deal with variables on each side and then distributive property. And then the next day we'll deal with some fractions and things like that. So steps for solving these types of equations. The first thing we're going to do is use a distributive property if you need to. We want to get rid of those parentheses, so we're going to use distributive property. The second thing is we can look at each side of the equal sign and then combine like terms. Now you can't do it across the equal sign, but you can do it on each side of the equal sign to combine like terms. So I'll even actually put up a little shade to cut off half the equation to show you how that works. Third and fourth, we want to get all variables on the left side of the equation and then get all the numbers on the right side of the equation. You could do it vice versa there, but it's a little bit easier when we read left to right. So it's a lot easier to work from left to right. Put the variables on the left and the numbers on the right. It makes it easier. Okay, so next up, let's use some practice problems. So let's take this first one here. We've got -2 plus 10x equals 8x minus 1. So the first step is there any distributing that we have to do? And there's no parentheses, so there's no distributing that we have to worry about. Okay. Next, we're going to look to combine like terms. So I'm going to put the shade up here, and let's just kind of look at this first side of the equal sign. Is there anything we can combine there? No, nothing. Nothing needs to be combined. And so we look at the other side now and say, on this side of the equal sign, is there anything that needs to be combined here? No, 8x, -1, can't combine them. So we're pretty good to start working on the next step, which is get the variables on the left side, numbers on the right side. So in order to do that, we're just solving equations, inverse operations, doing the opposite, just like we have been. So I'm going to subtract the 8x because I want to get this to the other side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 8x from each side. So now I have a -2 on the left. Here, 10x minus 8x is a 2x, positive 2x, equals, well, now these are gone because I subtracted it, and we just have the -1 on the right-hand side. All right, now we want to get the numbers on the right. So again, we want to take this -2 and we want to get it over to the other side of the equal sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 to both sides. These are our principles of equality, and that should get rid of this. And I have 2x. Get rid of the -2, so I have 2x on the left and equals a positive 1 on the right. And now our last step is to divide through by that 2. Divide through by the 2, and so we'll get an answer of x equals 1/2. And that's okay to get a fraction answer. You could write it as x equals 0.5. If you did it in your calculator, and that comes up that way. Either way is good. I actually like it in fraction form, but because sometimes you get rounding things with decimals, but either one of those will do. Okay, we'll skip number 2 for now, and let's go on to this next one. Let's go to number 4. I like number 4 because it has some parentheses in there, and it has a lot of combining like terms and stuff. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. First step is to distribute. We've got parentheses. Let's get rid of those parentheses by distributing. So 8 times x here is 8x. 8 times 1 is 8. So we have that. And we're still going to keep this 4, keep that down on that side. Okay, now on the left side, we're going to distribute as well. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times -8 is -24. And we still have this -16 to bring down. Okay? Now the next step is to combine like terms on each side of the equal sign. So let's take a look at the left side here of the equal sign. Is there anything we can combine? Sure, we can combine this 8 and this 4. So now we're going to have 8x plus 12 on the left side. Let's take a look at the right side and see if there's anything we need to combine over here. Well, yeah, we've got a -24 and a -16 we can combine, and that would give us a -40 on this side of the equal sign. So we still have the 6x over here. Get rid of that now. We can combine those. So we still have the 6x, and then we have a -40 because -24 plus -16 is -40. So now we're in a business where we can start solving basically a two-step equation, get the numbers on the right, the variables on the left. So let's get the variables on the left here, and I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides, and that's going to cancel that out. And over here I've got a 2x, and I'm going to add plus 12 equals a negative 40. Going to bring those down. I'm showing all my work, okay? And now I'm going to get the numbers on the right side. So I'm going to do the opposite here. I want to get that 12 on the other side of the equation. Just like we did here, we wanted to get this 6 over on the other side, so we subtracted it. So we're doing the same thing here. Now I'm going to do the opposite of adding 12 is to subtract 12 from both sides. And so now we are left with 2x equals a negative 52. So negative 40 plus negative 12 is negative 52. And our final step then is to divide by 2, and you'll get an answer of x equals negative 26. Okay? Show your work. You want full credit, you got to show your work. I don't care that you could speed through this mentally, you got to show your work. There's a lot of steps here. And we're looking at 1 with distributing, 2 with combining like terms, 3 with the subtracting, 4 with the division. I mean, we got 4 or 5 steps here you're going to have to get points for. So let's make sure that we do that. Okay? All right, let's talk about no solution. When we talk about no solution, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but the symbol for no solution is a 0 with a line through it. And this basically means there's no possible answer. So when we talk about this, what does it mean to be no solution? It's no value of the variable will ever make the equation true. No value of the variable will ever make the equation true. So when we see this, what we're looking at is there's going to be no variables. And no variables at the end when you're done working. And it's a false statement. So if you remember from those true and false statements with those replacement sets, so basically no variables left, and then it's a false statement. So let's look at our example over here to the right. And if we go ahead and distribute through here, because that's our first step. Okay, so on the left side is going to stay 5y minus 6, okay, equals 30 plus 5y. It's a 5. Now can we combine like terms? I look on the left side, and I'll give you the shade. On the right side, any combination? No. How about the left side? No combination there. So we can continue on with getting variables on the left side and numbers on the right. So by doing that, I want to get this negative 5 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 5y, subtract 5y. But what happens to my y's? This we know is going to cancel, but what happens here? They're gone. They're going to cancel also, so there's no y's left. So all I have now as I bring down my negative 6 equals 30. There's no variables left. So we have no variables left. And then is that a true statement? Is negative 6 equal to 30? No, that's a false statement. So we've got no variables and a false statement, so this would be our answer. That would be our answer there. Okay, just the opposite of that is all real numbers. All real numbers. And that symbol is like an R with an extra little line on the right. It's all real numbers. Okay? And what does that mean is we've got the equation is true no matter what you use for the variable. So no matter what you plug in this example over here, no matter what you plug in for W, it's going to be true. Okay? And no matter what the variable is. So in this case, when we work through the problem, again, you're going to end up with no variables. But this time, it's going to be a true statement. This time, it's going to be a true statement. So again, let's look through our example over here on the right side of the board. So again, we can distribute because we got parentheses. So 2w, 2 times w is 2w. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? And over on this side, there's nothing to distribute, so I'm just going to write down what we had. All right, now let's look to combine like terms. Let's look at the left side. Anything to combine here? 2w plus 6? No, can't combine anything there. How about the right side? How about the right side? There we go. Yes, I can combine this 7 and this -1 to make a 6. Combine the 7 and the -1 to make a 6. So it would actually be 2w plus 6. So now you can kind of see I've got 2w plus 6 equals 2w plus 6. So just getting the variables on one side and the numbers on the other side, I would subtract 2w. And again, the variables are gone. They're going to cancel on this side. They're also going to cancel on this side. And now I've got 6 equal to 6 when I bring those down. Well, is that true? Is 6 equal to 6? Sure is. It's true. So that means no matter what you put in for the variables, it would work. So that would be, the answer would be all real numbers. All real numbers. Okay. I don't think we need to practice these because we just did a practice example of each. So we can move on to there. And that just gets us to our lesson summary. Explain how you know that your equation has one solution, no solution, or all real numbers for a solution. So tell me how you would explain that. Then your practice problem here is to solve 1/4, solve this equation here. It's a multi-step equation. 1/4 times 8x minus 12 equals 3 times x plus 3. Okay, so that will do it for section 2.4a. Bring any questions you got. We'll go to work on this tomorrow, and we'll get to practice some more of this, and we'll get 2.4b tomorrow.